Washington. The rate of the rhetoric pouring from Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un meshes perfectly with the 247 news cycle. But sanctions plod along, way behind, before there's a measurable impact if ever. On Tuesday, the U.S. president threatened to totally destroy North Korea. No surprise then that the North Korean leader blasted back on Thursday. "I'll surely and definitely tame the mentally deranged U.S. dotard with fire." On Thursday, Trump had upped the ante, slapping another round of sanctions on North Korea and those who do business with the hermit state. So place your bets how many days before Kim stages another provocative weapons test. Soon. Apparently in New York on Thursday, Pyongyang Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho threw out a boast that the North might test a hydrogen bomb over the Pacific Ocean. "I'm now thinking hard about what response he could have expected when he allowed such eccentric words to trip off his tongue," Kim said in an official statement that was accompanied by a picture of him sitting at a desk thinking hard. Unlike the recent sanctions which were imposed on the North by the UN Security Council, the round announced on Thursday is unilaterally American, intended to use U.S. economic heft to crimp the thinking of companies and banks still willing to deal with Pyongyang. Basically it's a simple choice for the targeted entities to do business with the U.S. or with North Korea. Banks anywhere in the world that facilitate trade with North Korea would be locked out of the U.S. Aircraft and ships that visited the North would be barred from landing and berthing in the U.S. for 6 months. Announcing the sanctions, Trump had bigger news. China, Pyongyang's economic lifeline, had ordered its banks to halt all business dealing with North Korea. U.S. President Donald Trump fires insults at Kim Jong-un at the 72nd session of the United Nations General Assembly. Photo app very bold, somewhat unexpected, Trump said of what Reuters described as an order by Chinese leader Xi Jinping. At the United Nations, U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley explained that the objective of the new U.S. sanctions was to cut the revenue so they could do less of their reckless behavior. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un attends what was said to be the test launch of an intermediate-range missile on September 16. Photo KCNAAP. But she added it doesn't mean that it will necessarily change Kim's attitude. These two, Trump and Kim, are born performers. Each is a daredevil, impulsive and thin-skinned. North Korean Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho was in New York on Wednesday for a meeting of the UN General Assembly. Photo app. Escalation is inevitable and dangerous, especially if and when we arrive at the point of realization by the White House that more and more sanctions are unlikely to work, as a procession of experts and analysts keep warning. That's the context in which all the warning about miscalculations in a time of crisis come into play. It seems there's talk of a plan B. There are various scenarios, but they all amount to what Daniel Russell, a former Assistant Secretary of State for Asia, outlined to the Axios online news site as a sharp, short warning shot, a military strike short of Trump's totally destroy threat calibrated to shake Kim's belief that the U.S. is not game to use military force. Maybe it would be a cyber attack to turn out the lights in North Korean cities, or a strike designed to take out a North Korean missile in test flight. Early in this round of the North Korean crisis, U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis issued somber warnings that war on the Korean peninsula could only be tragic on an unbelievable scale. These days, he seems to have found faith in the much-vaunted notion of the surgical strike. On Monday, he predicted it was possible to take some kinds of military action against the North, without provoking retaliatory attacks by Kim on South Korea, whose capital is just 56 kilometers from the demilitarized zone DMZ, or on any of the military bases that are home to thousands of U.S. troops.